Welcome to my channel, to my studio. This is my first long form YouTube video. So we're gonna do something. We're just going to riff off about what started this process, what really got me into this process of growing my brand and becoming visible. So I'm just gonna be as transparent as I can with y'all. Is that all right? Okay. Because I think for some of you who have been around for a little while, you're gonna see what I'm up to this year and go, wow, like she's really on a different vibe. And yes, it's been a long time coming. And the way that God has been moving in my life in the last year and the things that have just absolutely shed. I mean, the skins that were shed last year, can I get an amen? Like, woo! That was some really hard work. 2025 in the past is gone. But also, like, there's a real shift in springtime, right? And we know in ancient times, the real new year was in the spring, like around the spring equinox. So April is really, it feels like a fresh start, a fresh month, the real true new year. And yeah, so I feel like this is timely, you know? I feel like it's a proper time to just get into a mode of expansion, to get into a mode of not just thinking about doing new things, but trying new things, taking action steps and actually building what God has called us to build and what we were maybe anxious about or avoidant in the past of. But now we're just stepping into it because it's a new season, because we got fire horse energy behind us, because we got Christ within us. Like, we're good, like we're golden. And also it's our time, right? And if you're in my IG broadcast channel, The Warrior Saints, like this is our year, okay? So you know that, and I've been preaching about it for a while. So I wanted to give you all a bit of a behind the scenes look and a breakdown of the internal infrastructure, the internal architecture that I have been really working on. And whenever I say I, it's always in concert with God, because we walk in lockstep. We're one, like we're united. There is not a separation for me. So I'm always doing everything in concert with God. And if I'm not, then I repent and I turn away and I'm like, that was not right. And then I, make amends for that and then start on a new path. So also that's an important note. Let's get into it. Okay, so I've really started being bolder online in recent weeks and attracting more of my tribe. I had my first ever reel go viral on IG last weekend, despite having an account for years and never even having attempted virality before. So what changed, you ask? And a few things, and I'm going to break it down here so that you can do these too. And this is straight from my soul to yours. I really took the time to sit down to write this out, to say, like, look, here's what it took, because I think pretty much 90 something percent of people out there will tell you to focus on the external metrics, like, posting, making this look this way, and but really in reality, like, but what's behind the scenes, and behind the scenes is actually internal. So this is why I want to talk about the internal infrastructure and architecture, about what the shifts were that I went through and the processes that really actually catalyzed this. And then the shift into now being in this 100-day challenge, where it's not only posting every day, but it's also posting these long form YouTube videos, which I knew I've been needing to make for a while, but I had just been shy, y'all. And most of you probably don't realize this, but I do have a little bit of a shy side. It's over there, okay? So, yeah. All right, so first was an intentionality direction shift. Okay, let me say that again. An intentionality direction shift. So I stopped worrying what others were going to say, and I started valuing my heart and soul's expression at a higher level than my concern for external judgment and projection. Okay, before these tables had been flipped and I had been putting those in an imbalanced proportion to what actually matters. So when you shift that and you say, I'm actually going to value what my heart and soul's expression is, like what's really coming through me, because that is actually what the divine and God, that is what is really wanting to be created through you. That's aligned with love, which is God. So that's the thing that really matters the most. And all the other stuff is like, is feedback, but sometimes feedback is accurate, sometimes it's not. So, number 2, I reclaimed my desire to be known. And this one was huge for me. Counseling helped me unearth it. And I was raised to value humility to an extreme degree. So, desiring visibility slash what the world calls fame, which is to be known, really, wasn't something that I was allowed. Okay. But it is a part of my soul's blueprint. So, reclaiming that I actually do want it for the right reasons, it set me free. And the right reasons, when I say that, what I mean is actually impact and actually contribution and actually being of service and support and help and giving in proportion, right, of like reciprocity to all that I've received. Like I received so much teaching and wisdom and guidance and instruction and healing and all these things over the years that this is like, it's like coming from overflow. So that's what I mean by the right reasons. Okay. Number 3, I listened to God and I implemented exactly what I was hearing. That viral reel, I received divine guidance on exactly what to caption it, what hashtags to use, what words to post in the main video. I implemented immediately. I did not wait. I took action as soon as I got the inspired intel. That part is crucial. I didn't wait. A lot of y'all wait. A lot of us wait. We wait. It's like, stop waiting. If you hear it, God said it, do it. And that honestly has been a process of been an integration for some years because I had some resistance. I had some obstructions, let's just say. And I would say also too, like, you know, when you grow up and you go through a lot and you have trauma, like it can be hard sometimes. And you do have this spirit of resistance, which makes you a strong and powerful warrior for good and for justice and for love and for truth and peace and these things. But it also can get in the way. So like you gotta know, you gotta build temperance and you gotta build that discernment to know like, okay, when am I getting in my own way and when am I using this for actual powerful purposes that really matter? So, number 4, I stopped overthinking, editing, and censoring myself. Now, when I think of something valuable, instead of keeping it to myself like I was doing before, because of fear of judgment or whatever online projection and other people's shenanigans that they have going on, it now goes on Threads or IG or somewhere that others can benefit from the sharing of it. And here on YouTube, right? And now this is a new platform as well for me. So these things just get to actually come out, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't have any discernment at all. Of course it does, but this is really about like a larger purpose and being of service. So that focus shift that I spoke about earlier is really coming into play with this one, because if you're worried about others' projections, which I get it, other people are mean sometimes, especially online, because we get these magic boxes and we think we're not talking to other humans. And so a lot of people, their mentality is just off. Let's just call it what it is. Their mindset is really, really off, and they have dehumanized other people and themselves. So they say things that they would not say to your face. And people for years were just telling me like, oh, develop a thicker skin, but like, excuse me, like my heart is so soft and sensitive. And I was just like, no. But I realized that actually what I was doing was I was outsourcing my power, because I was more concerned confused really about like other people's projections, thinking it meant something about me when in reality it doesn't. Like if somebody calls you a blue toad, you're like, okay, well, I'm not a blue toad, so like that's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody calls you like an orange frog, you're like, what is this person saying? Where are they coming from? Who is this? So you just leave it alone. Like you don't even. And you got to think about online feedback like that too. Sometimes people say stuff and they're like, you're a purple elephant. You're like, cool, man, and keep moving. So developing that mindset, so crucial. Number 5, and this one's gonna be controversial. I reclaimed my inner, what the world calls bitchiness, being rude, being mean, having an attitude, which is really just women having standards. I know who I am and who I'm not at a soul level. I know who I am as God's daughter. I know who I am as God's child. So I realized that, and this was hard lesson I learned last year. which is that if even the people closest to you can project their own stuff onto you and call you things you're not, and you think they know you better than anybody else, but they can also be seeing through distorted lenses and not seeing you clearly, especially when you step onto a path of truth, especially when you're going hard for God, especially when you're letting God cleanse you and reclaim you and reshape you and mold your identity, and you actually become a stronger soldier and warrior for truth than ever and freedom. It's like you're breaking like literal chains in your family and your lineage, and you're a disruptor to your line, and you think, well, the people around me, like, they know me, like they're not gonna call me a purple elephant, and then they do. And obviously that's a facetious, metaphor, but you'll know what I'm saying. And it's real painful because you're like, wow, I never thought that person would call me that, and they did. So when you realize that they also can have their own distortions and their own projections and not fully be clearly seeing the truth of total reality, then you realize, what on earth is the point of trying to avoid that online by holding back what I truly want to say, and avoiding that from strangers, like, who literally don't know me at all. Who are literally just meeting me for the first time, who are literally seeing me through a screen and then are like forming all these conjectures and conclusions. Like, there's no point. There's no point. Projectors gonna project, okay? Projectors gonna project. Let them do it. You gotta laugh about at least like 75% of it. At least. So, let me see. Okay, number 6, because I'm moving this over here. Yeah. Okay, number 6. Once all of that was in place, I could actually implement the action of showing up consistently and being visible online. So y'all gotta take note here, because the reality is that all of that was the internal infrastructure and architecture that had to be in place, right? And then I could implement the action of showing up consistently, being visible online. I couldn't do it before, like, not to say I couldn't force myself, but it was not in alignment. It was not in congruence for me. It was such a struggle. I was like, it was so much resistance. So that's really what had to shake up and had to shift. And people are shouting from every rooftop to just post and be visible, but they seldom are talking about these things, what it really takes. And this is what it took for me to finally break that ceiling that had been holding me back for years. So I'm curious if you've been on a similar journey and you've had a breakthrough around this topic of posting online, overcoming self-doubt / haters, projectors. What internal architecture and infrastructure did it take for you to bust out of that shell? The class would love to know. And also, are you struggling with this? Like, let us know. We can help each other out. All right, God bless everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm so glad to be here with y'all to share more valuable content. Mostly my channel is going to be focused on health and healing, spirituality, consciousness, awakening. But also, I wanted to post this first video to just give like context and clarity to where we're starting from and what's happening. And honestly, this is like a big step, y'all. So I just want to be like, congratulate myself for a quick second, because I thought I really put in my mind for a while that I needed to be at like a certain level, and that I needed to be like quote unquote ready in order to get this off the ground and do it. And that things would look different in my life, and that I'd be in a different position and a different place and all this. But anyway, here we are, just doing it. So instead of making it really superficial and easy and pretending like, oh, it just super naturally happened, it's like I really wanted to break this down and say, these are the things I took serious note of. It took really hard work. There was tears, there was crying, there was all the feelings involved, there was counseling, there was other people that helped me, like, but these are the shifts that occurred so that I could get out and face that and say, yeah, no matter what comes, and no matter what other people say, and no matter if people think I'm this or that or the other, whatever stuff that other humans will have to say, like, God's purpose is more important, and the things that I'm focused on and my mission, and also the fact that we're here at this time in humanity, it is more important. It is more important. It is more important than what other people will say about you. So let this be encouragement, let this be inspiration. You know, take it, put some wind under your wings and fly and share what is on your heart, and know that it doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. You know, you don't have to have some perfect background. Like me having my fridge in the background, I'm like, whatever. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. It just is what it is. This is my studio. This is where we're at right now. So God bless y'all. I love y'all. See you in the next one.